bigging up middle age. It's between elders and young folk. That's what we bigging up right now. Want to big up Sonetta TV in the building? Give Sonetta a round of applause. Sonetta TV in time zone. But big up to Sonetta in the building. He's the mayor of Harlem, the streets of Harlem. He's the mayor. That means Dr. Jack Felder is the president out there. Dr. Jack, give Dr. Jack Felder wherever he gives a round of applause. Give him a round of applause. He's always out there screaming out with the red, black, and green flag. He was my children's exemption papers back in 1993, and I never forgot him about that. This brother has been, he is the godfather of the metaphysics underground in New York City, where he used to bring all of the teachers and teach them 12 hours straight in his house when he was the queen before, then he was with the Nani, and all the other great people that came through, like Bobby Hemmett, that said, I'll shave for Bobby Hemmett. He's still here. He's still here. He's still here. So, I'll say to Dr. Ben, he's still here doing what he got to do. Let's say respect him. Let's say so. I want all of you to stand up. Stand up, get on your feet, and welcome into New York City is home. Start it up, DJ. Welcome to New York City is home. Come on, DJ, so put it on it. Welcome to Rock, to Rolling, Dr. Bill Valentine.
It seemed like everybody watched the House of Consciousness. God, I'm tuning in here in the States to every continent. You got your holy book, your references and documents, then hit your brother's sign, get it cracking if you're confident. Sonetta TV, it don't get no more reality. It's helping us stay mindful of the struggle in totality. Humble yourself and let the commentary resonate. Living in these times, this here is sure to help you elevate.
Entering a new zone. Hope the dialogue ain't too strong. Y'all know that we've been waiting too long.
And ever since I stepped into this paradigm, most of the time all I got is building on my
TV
mind.
is a black throne, where kings and queens come get their facts on. Just be prepared to have your mind blown.
And ever since I stepped into this paradigm, most of the time all I got is freedom on my mind. For real, for real.
The name is Jupiter in the galaxy. I came to greet you, make you free. Deliver to you a flower from a distant planet from where I come. Earth, Wind, and Fire, 1976. What was that brother thinking about? Way ahead.
Memories of the future.
Just catching up. I see my good brother Nathan George, my elder. Give it up for him. One flew over the cuckoo's nest. He's the one that kicked Jack Nicholson's ass. The nurse. Don't you love him? Greetings, beloved family.
Greetings.
All praise due to the supreme omniscient intelligence. All love to my family, my daughter, my son, my granddaughter, my grandson, my soon-to-arrive third. He or she is somewhere in the house right now. Spirit, ready to become a body. My beloved wife, Melanie, the National Black Theater, Brother Nabi Shay. Someone give it up for this brother. Brother Polite and Brother King Simon. Let's give it up for those brothers. To my elder brother, Dr. Delbert Blair. Dr. Delbert Blair. Doing it longer than I have. I've been nearly 40, he's been doing it nearly 60 years. That's right. And I'd like to give thanks and praises to the brother standing here to my right, the little Cyrus baby, who travels all the way. To the DJ, the baddest of the baddest, Supreme Haru L. Let's give it up for this one. To all my special invited guests, to my big bro, Nathan George, to Junior Coggins for helping me with my technical, to Dr. and Mrs. Debbie and Antoinette Turner for traveling all the way here, my close friend from way back when. Ever got a problem with your feet? This brother is one of the premier podiatrists in the world. Right there, sitting at that corner. So look him up. And tell me when you start limping around if you didn't know. I'd like to begin with a quote from a document entitled Report from Iron Mountain that says, "Objectivity is more often an intention expressed than an attitude achieved." Indeed. Those of us who strive for years, even decades, to keep the tenuous torch of objectivity lit have had to weather the strong, criticizing, often ill winds of scientific, religious, cultural, and political orthodoxies each time we attempted to shine this light on the confusion surrounding this issue. I sincerely hope that here in these hallowed halls, there exists the requisite positive attitudes and open minds necessary to achieve objectivity. That objectivity will not only be given the benefit of the doubt, but be also recognized as the fundamental arbiter of truth. That said, I would like to place into the record another quote, this time by one of the more recognizable parasites, Mr., or if you prefer Ms. Gay Edgar Hoover, who said, "The human mind is severely handicapped when confronted with a conspiracy so monstrous he cannot believe that it exists." You can bet the farm that Ms. Hoover rendered that particular statement with all the guarded objectivity that his high office and political clout would allow him. Now, since the early 1990s, I've intended to give a personal, albeit in-depth analysis of this issue from a metaphysical and metahistoric perspective, but was continually put off by three primary issues. One, the overwhelming and yes, justified influence of our Black nationalist community, who saw it as a waste of time, offering no intrinsic value to our immediate as well as long-term political, social, cultural, and economic upliftment and empowerment here and around the world. Number two, the constant propagandizing of Eurocentric Hollywood depictions coupled with reinforced agents propagating white New Age myths of an all-white universe, channeling spiritual information from Black ancients through white psychics, who put white people in Kemetic clothing, while co-opting the Black legacies and histories of ancient Babylon, Sumeria, Pangaea, Atlantis, Lemuria, as well as all of their artifacts. All to substantiate their white primacy here and now in outer space, taking our ancient characters and stories as their own, and causing the majority of Black skeptics to believe that Black investigators into this phenomenon were, after all, nothing more than second-hand followers of white cultural, psychosocial myths that made us nothing more than another segment of mind-fucked Black folks suffering from that disease of slavery, theopsychosis, which brings me to part three. Our collectively psychotic adherence to mind-warping influences of religion and its bullshit dogmas. You see, after studying and witnessing the operational dynamics of the Hegelian dialectic in all of its multifaceted applications, I came to realize over these many decades that the dogmas of religion, science, politics, economics, and white Western culture are all excrements from the same parasitic body that spends trillions to make us believe that they are all unrelated, that their religious dogma is unrelated to their scientific dogma. that their scientific dogma is unrelated to their political dogma, or that their political dogmas are unrelated to their Aryan, white supremacist culture, misnomer, Western civilization. And that all the above is somehow unrelated to the UFO phenomenon. Which is why, when Brother King Simon and Brother Polite first approached me to participate in what is actually the third official black UFO, not the first, it's the third. Dr. Blair having hosted one of the first at the O'Leary Dempsey Center, and I myself hosting a second one in the Gathering of the Masters featuring the unforgettable Riley Martin. I bet you don't know who he is. See? We have to keep up with the history. Riley Martin was the first black abductee besides my boy who supposedly got taken in. But it was Riley Martin who told you all about what was going on around Saturn that only now NASA has found. Everybody would say there's only 9 moons around Saturn. Well, Riley Martin was saying in his book, The Coming of 10, that there were at least 15 that he saw personally. But then, of course, they said he was crazy. He was an alcoholic. But then he got a call from the Pentagon. Guess what? We found 16 moons. We want to know why and how you knew that. He said, I told you, read my book. I decided to approach this issue in stages. Why? Because it is and has been a beast with multiple tentacles, a hydra with multiple heads, all connected to the same parasitic body that utilizes multiple vectors, multiple resources, multiple tactics, and multiple weapons, all aimed at Earth's autochthonous 22-strand first-order species here on Earth, you. I am of the mind, given the evidence that I am about to present, that we who are here sharing this present point in is-time relativity and was shifted into a space-time perceptual relativity that was not the one recorded into our original consciousness transcendence program. Which is why our present body vehicles are home to so much junk DNA. We are presently participating in a parallel consciousness conceptual relativity that constitutes the sum and substance of an alien parallel timeline that is the foundation of the parasitic paradigm we are all currently trapped in. I also spoke about an underground ops society, black ops society that exists. This underground black ops society are made up of elitists who have technologies that are 200 years in advance of you right now. They live in a whole other paradigm from you. They live underground. They live on the moon. And of course, you ain't gonna believe that. See, that's why I didn't want to talk about this 20, 30 years ago. But see, you're here now, so obviously you want to hear it. We have a high-tech oligarchy, a high-tech empire, completely estranged from all governments and average human beings around the world. So let us begin where they told us that we needed to begin. Where is my computer? I know y'all didn't take my computer.
Point it on that side. You're using the PowerPoint, right?
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, it's over here. It's over here. There you go.
Please turn down the spotlight. I hate it. I hate it.
1 minute.
Thank you. Unless it gets in the way of the people. Take the number down, please, family. We're going to be here for a minute. We have a lot of work to do. We have to catch up with a lot. Everybody have the number? Did everybody get my card? Yes. No? Okay, at the end, I have some left. Hopefully we can give you some.
They'll be at the front desk, brother.
Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the title of this is part 1. There's going to be a lot of different ways that I'm going to approach this, because there's so many people with so many different parts to the story. I'm not going to drop you into any kind of fiction at this point and tell you what we know after all these years. I'm going to start you at the very beginning so that you can start discerning for yourself and know where to go looking for this information. I call us the hyper-celestials. We are the originals. But, as I said and as I will show you, our timeline, our consciousness timeline has been jacked. We are on a timeline that does not belong to us, which is why we have been disempowered. This is precisely why we cannot seem to get it together within the paradigm structure that has been placed around us like a frequency fence. The reason for that is the future that is here on this time track does not belong to you. It belongs to a creature who jacked yours because you are the original soul carriers. You are the first order entities that have souls.
Right.
The synthetics that you are talking about and what we're talking about, we're going to actually show you where we are headed based upon what it is that you see that is happening to science today, what is happening to religion today, that is happening to politics today. All of them that appear to have different dogma are all the same. There is no difference when it comes to this paradigm. There is no difference when it comes to the people who are running it, to the people who came back to manage it. This is part 1. Blank slate technology, transhumanism, and the spawn of the animus. What the hell does that mean, Dr. Valentine? There you go with them titles again. You read them, and I place them there so that your mind becomes conscious and aware and ready for what is about to take place. Okay? The spawn of the animus. Think about what I just said to you, and you will come to understand as we go along what I mean. We are starting at the beginning, and I'm going to introduce you to things that have personally affected me, as well as what I have come to personally understand and understand. But first, as Brother King Simon has said, I want this very clear. This private lecture seminar entitled We the Alpha Celestials Part 1, Blank Slate Technology, Transhumanism, and the Spawn of the Animus, including all words, intellectual concepts, context, and precepts in both audio and visual forms, are limited to the sole public use of Dr. Philip Valentine, the host, New Covenant, and the intended recipient students of this lecture seminar dated 27 April 2014 Anno Domini, and contains privileged, proprietary, and or confidential information that is not for sale, display, or presentation except by the first 2 parties aforementioned. Any and all political, private, or public entities, federal, state, or local corporate governments, municipalities, international organizations, corporations, agents, investigators, informants, and bystanders, et al., and all third parties working in collusion with the above agencies to collect information by monitoring this presentation and or any other means of electronic spying and collecting content without our exclusive permission are barred from any and all unauthorized review, use, disclosure, or distribution. All images utilized in this presentation are displayed in accordance with Title 17 U.S. Code, Chapter 1, subsection 107, notwithstanding provisions set forth in Title 17 U.S. Code, subsection 106 and subsection 106A, with explicit reservation of all my rights without prejudice, without recourse to me, Dr. Philip Valentine, University of Computer Sciences. Any omission does not constitute a waiver of any or all intellectual property rights and reserved rights. Notice to principal is notice to agent, and oh, class, you're not paying attention. And as long as all the spies and everywhere you have Mike got that. One of my heroes, Buddha, said all reality is myth. I'm still hating this light. Yo, can I get a little love over here? Myth becomes ever nearer to reality, Siddhartha Gautama the Buddha. Myth becomes ever nearer to reality. Why am I putting that part of it in there? All myth is reality. All reality is myth. What do they say? Well, we are living someone else's myth. Let me repeat that. Someone else has wrote a story and we have co-signed it. And I'm going to show you how. You think that your mundane existence essentially is something that you can go back to and say, I have a referential point to my reality. I know this is this and that is that. My reference is my education. My reference is the next person who co-signs my education because she or he got a damn education. So everything must be real. Well, it started here. Everybody remember this?
Yeah.
All the way down, all the way down. Oh, thank you. Let the sun set. Isn't that much clearer? Now you can see it in the back.
They want to see for the camera.
They want to see what? For the camera? Don't look at me, please. I ain't nothing to look at in the camera. Look up there.
Max breath was small.
Please, everyone, we love children, but children in these things actually are interrupting what adults are here to learn. Please. Thank you very much. Remember this? Roswell, they tell you. We had a crash in a saucer. Remember what we were told and shown? There were pictures of these entities. These entities that essentially, supposedly crashed. Now, I'm not here to verify or indemnify or to certify anything. I'm here to give the information so that you can now come to a conclusion on your own. Because if I were to come in here to tell you that this and this is so, then I would be tabbed as a believer and I might as well be up there preaching about Jesus fucking Christ. So, I'm not here to give you any kind of belief system in anything. I have never, as long as you've known me, told you that I know every damn thing. I'm putting the information out there because I think it's valid that we actually keep up with the paradigm so that we'll know where to duck. All right? And when. So they showed us this. And they also showed us a couple of other things that looks extremely valid. Here's something very deep. Look at them, 4 tones. These entities, it's going to be deep. These entities are going to show you, essentially, certain things that most people would then kind of discard and say, oh, I saw that on TV. That's how they numb you down. I saw it in the movies. All of that is the acclimating process, as you will come to find out. Now, this is a memorandum from Majestic 12. They said the Majestic 12 never existed, it was big, it was bullshit. No. Look at what was found after I did a little dredging. This is page 2. Now, I just want to show you that these are declassified pieces of information that came thereafter. I want you to see something. All efforts have been made to identify the country or private concern which could have the technical and financial resources necessary to produce such a long-range flight. So far, no country on this earth has the means and the security of its resources to produce such. They're talking about the downed craft. A consensus reached by members in the panel that until positive proof that the Russians did not attempt a series of reconnaissance flights over our most secure installations, sightings and recovered objects are what? In areas of flight dynamics, biological and chemical agents. What was that next one? Mind control and intelligence gathering techniques. And here is page 4. At present, the ability to reconstruct the technology that may be eons ahead of us, the boost to our current efforts would be incalculable. Areas such as aircraft and missile design would benefit only after a working understanding has been achieved. Weapons science will follow. Okay? Page 5. Miniaturization of atomic bomb components is the goal. Is the goal of them. They already see that they're going to make little tiny atomic bombs out of this technology. Studies at MIT indicate that such a technology is within reach before the decade is out. The apparent use of microcircuitry, everywhere we have gone into nano, here's where it started. Found on the recovered platform indicates that miniaturization, low-power transmissions, like conductor-sensitive components are required for what? Interplanetary space travel. Atomic engines and nuclear propulsion technologies could be advanced based upon current use of hydrogen and electromagnetic research and weapons components developed in the US and the UK. Next. Biowarfare programs in the US and the UK are in field test stages. Discovery of new virus and bacteria agents so lethal that serums derived by genetic research can launch medical science into unheard fields of biology. The samples extracted from bodies found in New Mexico have yielded new strains of new retroviruses not totally understood, but give premise to the ultimate biological warfare weapon. The danger lies in the spread of airborne and bloodborne outbreaks of diseases in large populations with no medical cures available. Social, religious, and scientific reaction. You see how they are all melded together? It has been the downfall of great nations and cultures when a new reality is not readily accepted by the masses. The social order was severely ravaged by the last World War, with great damage to the religious dogma of earth without end, thus making a government disclosure irresponsible and inherently dangerous. The scientific community would predictably question such a reaction as the world suffering from a Buck Rogers delirium and attack everyone of their own ranks for believing such fantasy. Science itself may undergo a traumatic transformation with belief structures in shambles, putting the institutions under scrutiny by the laymen, thus creating or eroding any credibility. Science would be left with an image of credulity. One of the most difficult aspects of controlling the perception in the public's mind of government attempts to denial and ignorance is actual control of the press. Unless a clear intent is established with diplomatic relations firmly in hand, it is the recommendation of the President's special panel with concurrence from Majesty 12 or Majestic 12 that a policy of strict denial of the events surfacing from, listen, Roswell, New Mexico, and any other incident of such caliber be enforced. So what are they saying? They're saying that no matter what you think or what you see, the government is going to deny it. There's a policy in place. They can't do anything else. Listen carefully. They're talking about a mid-air collision of these two unidentified circular platform vehicles of interplanetary nature. There are, listen to me, there were 5 recovered bodies, 2 of which were found in a severely damaged escape cylinder, and the remaining 3 were found some distance away from the cylinder. All 5 appeared to have suffered from sudden decompression and heat suffocation. Recovery and autopsies of the occupants are covered in detail in a separate study, gray suit within projectiles 212 blah 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 system blah. Listen, watch this. So, one more. At the request of the panel, Cardinal Francis Spellman. Ooh. Your cardinal. Your cardinal. Not with the president to discuss. He met with the president the containment within the Catholic Church and its hierarchy of religious speculation if mass sightings occur. Such containment was successful during the 1947 sightings, when Cardinal Spellman met with the Secretary of War on 9/29 June after the sighting. Think the Vatican knows something? The future of American citizens in the world, for that matter, are jeopardized today by developments and pretentious as those leading to World War II. Given the growing challenge from the Soviet Union and her satellites and the intrusion of extraterrestrials, see, they speak very mundanely about this. We speak as if no, it doesn't exist. Well, we're going to see how their mind is, because these people carry things around that most people like us don't see every day, okay? They show things, they see things, they have things at their disposal that we don't every day. How many bodies did they say? Look like they were more than that to me. 5 they're going to admit to. Now, is this a Hollywood backdrop? Could be. Could be something they put together. But you know what? I'm trying to figure out where they got the model of these toes. Now, I want you to look at the bodies, because there's something that I want you to pay attention to more than anything else. If you don't leave out of here with anything else, leave out of here with what you're about to witness. Okay? I want you to take a look at the pictures that were declassified. They're declassifying it slowly so that we become acclimated like the frog in the boiling water. Item. On September 15, 1947, just 2 months after Roswell incident, President Harry S. Truman signed into law the National Security Act of 1947, which created the National Security Council and America's first peacetime intelligence organization, the CIA. 2 months. 2 months after Roswell crashed. Interesting. General Nathan Twining, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, said to President Truman that the UFO issue was bigger than the Manhattan Project and required that it be managed on a large scale and obviously for a longer period. They should form nothing less than a government within the government. Of significant interest regarding the bodies recovered at the crash site are the words of one Dr. Herman Obrecht, who said, the Roswell craft from New Mexico desert was not a spacecraft but a time machine. Therefore, the EBEs, or the extraterrestrial biological entities described in the medical autopsies, were humanoid robots from the future, rather than life forms specifically engineered for long-distance travel through space and time. Now, these are old white men who ain't got shit to do but put shit together in black. They ain't coming up with something that's just out of... These people are actually documenting what they see and what they hear. And this man, along with someone else, this man, from his manuscript, Dawn of a New Age, Colonel Philip Corso says, these creatures weren't benevolent alien beings. They were genetically altered human automatons, cloned biological entities who were harvesting biological specimens on Earth for their own experimentation. As long as we were incapable of defending ourselves, we had to allow them to intrude as they desired and as they wished. So, 2 people from the inside said these weren't living entities. They were grafted upon some kind of bioengineered synthetic alloy bodies that were able to deal with time travel. Why? Well, we say, well, is time travel even something that we could even consider? Well, no, you're not going to consider it because it's something that you only saw in the movies. Nobody can time travel. Really? Says who? I'm not an authority. I'm just following the bouncing ball. I just know the music. Most people don't know the music. They don't even have the beat. But yet still they render on opinion. So, let there be no doubt. Alien technology harvested from the infamous saucer crash at Roswell led directly to the development of the integrated cyber chip, laser, and fiber optic technologies. Particle beam, electromagnetic repulsion systems, depleted uranium projectiles, stealth capabilities, and many others. And how do I know this? I was in charge. Status, Chief Intelligence Officer, Advisor to Eisenhower, holder of 9 above top secret. He held 9 above top secret positions. So he gotta be lying. He had a clearing higher than the president. So what he says don't mean shit. And that's how they're training us to think. See, that's the reason why I couldn't bring it before the nationalist community, because the nationalist community would never have come together with the metaphysical community to say, here, guess what? The politics, the religious, the economics, all of that shit is connected. And the only way we're going to know it is if we come into our metaphysical mind. You can't look at this the way they want you to, with the language that you're looking at it. The way you're looking at it is not how you're going to solve it. You're not going to get a gun and solve it, because they got all the goddamn guns. You're not going to get money to solve it, because they got all the goddamn money. They own money's mother. So unless you're going to get everybody with a quickening to say, hey, let's drop everything we do in our lives and bum rush the White House, let's go. For how many people are you going to feel to do that? And how long are you going to keep up the struggle? The only way you're going to do this is to dysfunction him by not playing along with the timeline they jacked into. And until you understand that you've been jacked, and all of these, wait, I'm going to bring up the speed. Reality check. Now, this is what I put in here for the people who don't believe, or who don't want to even think about this particular subject matter. So I gave them this. The events and technologies as depicted in the upcoming data are correct, but the names, places, organizations, photos, and artifacts are fictitious, i.e. mythological. This material is not meant for the weak-willed or lazy of heart. It is extremely challenging on many levels, discernment, and an open mind being necessary requirements. The following was extrapolated from an interview with an ultra-high-level whistleblower known as Dr. Jameson Neruda, aka Dr. Jameson, conducted by an independent journalist calling herself Sarah. Now, at this point, I'm going to let you know something. Back in 1997, we lost our house and our home. And during those times, when those of you who used to come to our gatherings of the Masters on Carroll Street, beautiful place where we used to go until 5 in the morning, well, we were losing that. We were fighting in the courts and we had lost that. I had gone into a kind of a meditative state. I started just drifting and going into the park, sitting down and saying, okay, what the hell is next? Okay, I did everything I'm supposed to have done to get the people to see and all that. It didn't work. Okay, well, what are we going to do now? So I'm sitting around, I find myself wandering all over Central Park, and then I see some, a minstrel. You see, you can run up on some minstrel, they're doing their thing with about 6 different instruments. And I'm standing there and watching this brother do his thing. And over my shoulder, I'm listening, I'm commenting on what the dude is doing, and somebody is answering me in my head. So I'm saying, I'm going to have a conversation with myself. And so I hear this guy, tall white man, I turn and he's standing there finishing the sentence in my head. And after a while, I'm walking away, he says, hey, you have a minute. Because we were talking and commenting on this thing. And I'm commenting with him back and forth about this, and I says, later. And he says, you got a minute? And I said, sure, what? He goes over to the chair, he pulls out some paperwork, and it says the Wingmakers. What the hell is this Wingmakers? He said, take it. It's all dog-eared. It's written up all on the side. He's underlined all through it. It's a thick piece of messes of paper. And back then, you just had to, you didn't have all this digital stuff. You just had to you know, print out what you had on your on whatever little printer you had, and that was it. So I'm saying to myself, okay, I'm gonna look at this. I'm riding back home on the subway, and I'm looking at stuff, and I'm saying, you might remember me talking about the incunabula. You might have remembered me talking about the labyrinth group. Have you ever heard me talking about that way back when, but it didn't make any sense? Huh? Well, here's when it started to make sense. Very good. This area here in Mexico, Chaco, New Mexico. Listen, I'm giving you little pieces. Hang on with me. I have to give you all the different little pieces that connect the dots. It's not just about me telling you, look, the alien. Oh, look, the flying saucer. No, because your entire paradigm has been soaked with this and you have not seen it. So every little detail is going to make sense to you after you take this and you go home with it and you digest it. Okay? Now, this little area in Chaco Canyon, right now, is called Project Ancient Arrow. In 1972, a remote Chaco canyons in northern New Mexico, a group of hikers discovered an unusual artifact and pictographs, within an enclosure canyon. An archaeologist from the University of New Mexico analyzed the artifact and researched the area where it was discovered, but found no signs that a prehistoric culture had established any permanent site there. All but one of the artifacts were dated to the 8th century AD, the exception known as the compass artifact, appeared to be some form of unusual technology and was found among some typical artifacts like pottery and simple tools. The compass was covered in hieroglyphical symbols, some of which were also found on pottery. The pictographs were found in there, were strikingly different from any of the other native petroglyphs or rock art found in the Northwest, or this entire continent for that matter. Because of these two anomalies, the artifacts and the entire project quickly became the property of the U.S. government, more specifically the National Security Agency. It was decided that these artifacts might suggest a prehistoric extraterrestrial presence on Earth, and that the NSA had the appropriate resources to initiate a full-scale scientific expedition to determine the nature and significance of the site. This is the site. Okay, so all the little pieces are going to start coming together. The site was said to have been completely researched by a secret department in the NSA in 1973, but it only resulted in a few additional findings, and none of them were designated as technologies or evidence of an extraterrestrial presence. Additional pictographic symbols were found, but decoding them was a difficult and frustrating process. Experts were called in to help, but it was impossible to reach a consensus as to what the pictographs meant. As quickly as the project had risen to a priority in investigation, it fell into the archives of the NSA under the code name Ancient Arrow. 12 years later, in 1985, President Ronald Reagan, in one of his 6 speeches referring to an extraterrestrial threat, said, listen to this, before our high school students. He said, when you stop to think of all, that we are all God's children, this piece bastard is talking about all God's children. Wherever we may live in this world, I couldn't help but say to him, just think how easy his task and mine would be, because this guy associating himself with God. His task and mine would be in these meetings that we have. If suddenly there was a threat to this world from some other species from another planet outside in the universe, we forget all our little local problems that we have between our countries, and we would find out once and for all that we are really all human beings here on this earth. Listen, this could be a ploy for the whole one world order. Why? You'll come to see, and this is the part where I take the skeptic side, because there's evidence to the contrary as well. Here's another shot of the site. After its discovery in 1972, this obscure section of the parkland held by the state of New York, New Mexico, New York, was officially sanctioned off limits to hikers and campers. 21 years after the shutdown in 1994, a series of rock slides opened up a section of the Ancient Arrow site. A small team of operatives from the NSA was sent to the Ancient Arrow Canyon to do some follow-up research. They discovered the rock slides had exposed an entrance to a hidden cavern that led deep into the canyon walls. At the back of this cavern was a well-hidden entrance into the interior of the rock structure of the ancient Arrow site. There they found a system of tunnels, economic and religious. It's all connected to this. Now, here is a schematic of what was down in this cavern. This is how it looked. It was actually a kind of chamber. As you enter into it, you entered all the way up, you followed all the way up into each chamber, and there was a shaft that led down into the 24th chamber. Okay? Got that? Now, here's what they found in the chambers. These are some of the pictographs that they have actually gotten out of the 23 chambers, and of course they colorized them and got them all tuned in and so forth. This is what was painted on there. Okay? There's chambers 11 through 20. Okay? I mean, imagine what, and they said that when they walked into each of the chambers, it was as if their spirit was being communicated with directly. There was telepathic. The whole room had the engrams of whoever it was that created these pictographs to communicate to the mind directly. Okay? Now, let's go to the last chambers. Okay? So now we're seeing that somehow all of these pictographs supposed to mean something once you meditate on them. Okay? You can freeze them when you get home and you get the pictographs. Now, this ancient Arrow site was part of a broader interconnected system of 7 sites installed on each continent. Together, this system is alleged to constitute a defensive technology. Now, there's some white so-called New Agers that state that this technology is actually the animus creating the conditions for what they are supposed to be supporting themselves with, and that's us. That somehow what is supposed to be created to help us was actually being created to take us down. Here's another shot. Now, in 1999, a PBS documentary narrated by Robert Redford examined the mystery of the ruins of Chaco Canyon and stated that scientific evidence showed it was built sometime in 850 to 1150 AD. The film described and demonstrated the intricate and precise astronomical alignments among the many buildings spread over the wide desert area. These alignments, along with other evidence, supported the theory that Chaco Canyon was a major ceremonial center. Contemporary findings have come to conclude that the site may have been built by the Ashkenazi people or the Anasazi people, not the Ashkenazi, let me shut my mouth. By the Anasazi people who predated the Pueblo Indians. But once the entrance to the cavern was found, a report was immediately filed with the director responsible for the Ancient Arrow project. The project was then formally brought under the jurisdiction of the Advanced Contact Intelligence Organization, which organized an interdisciplinary search team to assess the exact nature of the site for evidence of an extraterrestrial visitation. Now, who are the ACIO? ACIO is a secret or unacknowledged department of the NSA. It is headquartered in Virginia, but has personnel in Belgium, India, and Indonesia. They were largely unknown, even to senior directors within the NSA. The ACIO is the lowest profile organization within the entire intelligence community. Its agenda is to research, assimilate, and replicate any technologies or discoveries of extraterrestrial origin. Its personnel consists mainly of scientists who are completely anonymous, yet are paid salaries in excess of $400,000 per year because of their security clearance and IQs. This secret organization is in possession of technologies that are far in advance of any other research facility on the planet. These technologies grew out of the technology transfer program deals struck with the Zeta Grays and the Cordium. The ACIO's agenda was brought to develop these technologies into useful, non-military technologies, that were seeded into both the private and public sectors. Super advanced technologies such as integrated circuits and lasers were said to be the outgrowths of the ACIO's TTP with the Zetas, and come to know these, the Cordium. We're getting to know everybody finally. Who are the Labyrinth group? The Labyrinth group was created by 15. Who is 15? You'll come to know. Because he felt the minds of the people who staffed the ACI or NCA, US government, CIA, et al. Were too infantile to grasp the enormity of what he was attempting to accomplish with something called BST. You heard me talk about blank slate technology. Long time ago. Check the files. He gathered together about 200 of the most gifted minds he recognized, accelerated their intelligence, and created a super secret order within the ACIO that went up to level 15. The Labyrinth group was tasked with developing BST to attempt to catch, listen, the first thought formulated by the animists, where they decided to invade Earth, then redirect that thought through an intervention point in vertical time. When the most advantageous intervention point is found and decided upon, people using advanced avatar-based remote viewing technology will use BST to create a blank slate memory in the collective consciousness of the entire animus race at the moment of the exact thought, then insert a new subtle thought, an inspirational impression that influences them to think something like, well, hey, Earth is not a good planet for us. Let's move somewhere else and never come back. No. They have the technology to influence you, to download thought engrams to make you believe that your thoughts are your own. Many of you have heard me say, are you thinking thoughts or are your thoughts thinking you? Well, here it is. Who is 15? Well, look at this dude. They snatched a picture of him. What's that? What kind of hair is that? What is that? Locks. See, when they get all the way up, they know what to do. Who is 15? According to Neruda, 15 is a man of unparalleled genius, a former member of the ACI who created the Labyrinth group to assist him in implementing his BST program. A Spaniard by descent, 15 is considered the unofficial CEO of planet Earth due to his unfettered influence over every government around the entire globe. The courtier chose him to be their liaison with planet Earth. He is one of that set the context for human intelligence and its development, utilizing the control through a secret, super secret body of influential humans and ETs known as the Incunabula. Now, everybody all into, oh, Illuminati, Illuminati. They're errand boys compared to these dudes. Right. Wow. Illuminati ain't for shit. The ones today. We were the Illuminati before. Because we were jacked. You call it conquest. We were jacked. This is the structure and relationship of the Labyrinth group to everything else. There's the US government, right there, the NSA, unacknowledged level 1, then you have special projects, military industrial complex, special private industry. Here's 15 with his private ACIO, then 15 over the Labyrinth group, where nobody but he has rulership over. Who are the Alliance? According to the research of Christopher Montgomery, the Alliance is a super secret underground group formed by a consortium of UFO scientists and researchers who defected from US government labs or institutions. They are gifted scientists who band together to form a cohesive, tight-knit community of behind-the-scenes experts, whistleblowers, who are constantly working to get information on UFOs, which the government says do not exist, out to the public. It is perhaps one of the information provided by this group, all right, from the information provided by this group, particularly one of their highest-ranking members, that we get the following information. His name was Dr. Jameson Neruda. Now listen very carefully, everybody, because this is where we get deep into the metaphysical part of this. According to the so-called waymakers, there are planetary minds, solar minds, galactic minds, and a singular universal mind. The universal mind is the mind of God. Each galaxy has a collective consciousness or mind field that is the aggregation of all the species present within that galaxy. The universal mind creates the initial blueprint for each of the galaxies related to its galactic mind or composite consciousness. This initial blueprint creates the predisposition of of the genetic code seeded within the galaxy. The Labyrinth group believes that God designed each galaxy's genetic code with a different set of predispositions and behaviors. So, your behavior, you, as you will come to find out, are basically from the beginning. You are the original. You are the hyper-celestials, but they don't let you know it. They know that in your encoding, you have 22 strands, not 6, not 12, like they want you to believe, but 22. The 22 matching the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, which essentially, when put together, actually becomes the composite of your DNA chain. The central universe is the material home of the first source, and it is eternal. It is surrounded by dark gravity bodies that make it virtually invisible even to those galaxies that lie closest to its periphery. The central universe is stationary and eternal, while the 7 super universes are creations of time and revolve around the central universe in a counterclockwise rotation. Surrounding these 7 super universes is outer or peripheral space, non-physical elementals consisting of non-baryonic matter or antimatter. That's what non-baryonic means, antimatter, which rotates around the 7 super universes in a clockwise rotation. Now, what they know and what you don't know, you're catching up on. It sounds crazy now because remember 20 years and 30 years ago when I was saying this, it sounded even nuttier then. But now you're open, now you're seeing the possibilities and the probabilities that exist and can exist if you but understand and understand what they truly mean at their fundamental levels. So we're getting a little bit deeper. This vast outer space is expansion room for the super universes to expand into. The known universe is but a small fragment of our super universe. Based on Hubble's fractional field of view, there are 50 billion galaxies in our super universe, each containing over 100 billion stars. Most astronomers remain convinced that our universe connects to our future selves and grasp a greater understanding of human destiny, among other things. From a classified document, and there it is, you can go ahead and check it, revealed by Dr. Jenny Struthers, Director of Special Operations for ACIO, a member of the Alliance perhaps. Item, to all Labyrinth group members, listen carefully. Wingmakers originate from the Pleiades, he stated, that they were the ones who originally seeded life on Earth and facilitated life's evolutionary leaps and biological transformations. They are the what?
Lyran.
The Lyrans. They and the Lyrans were the human genotype that brought with us a library of genetic codes that, through experimentation, produced the human species and most other life forms on Earth. They are the Lyrans, everybody. The Lyrans, everybody. Now, who are these Lyrans? Wouldn't you like to know who the Lyrans are? Well, they have been putting up pictures based on who they say came to them and gave them pictures to actually present to the world. We should all be happy and celebrate because guess what? It's time for Operation Mindfuck. And this is pretty much what they have been doing with us for the longest period of time. Having us look at the little shiny ball and making us believe that that reality is the only reality. Well, who are the Lyrans? Well, let's just say first, for instance, these Lyrans, or the Pegasus star system, accepted into the Galactic Federation 3.78 million years ago. They were originally a series of special colonies founded by the Syrian governing council some 4 million years ago. The constellation of Pegasus is a vast cluster of over 1,000 stars located between constellations Cygnus and Aquarius. This is from the Earth about 203,000 light years. Life form type. There are 3 major types of humanoids located in this star system. The first type strongly resembles the Syrian human in height and appearance, and is divided into the same white and blue skin types. The second type is a thinner human type with red or orange skin. The final type is a hybrid form from a dinoid and secondary humanoid race. Physical appearance. The first type resembles that of the original Sirius B humanoid colonists. The men vary from perfectly formed muscular physiques to childlike bodies and are 6 feet 6 inches to 7 feet 4 inches in height, with blonde to light brown hair and light blue to green colored eyes. The women are extremely voluptuous. I can see what he's doing while he's writing this. In appearance, and 6'2" and 6'8" inches, 1.8 meters, they have either extremely pale white or light blue skins. Now, do you think I want to meet up with these creatures? Hell to the no. Because here's what they're supposed to look like. Now, you got to remember, this is them. You see what I'm saying? This is why we can't take them seriously. Because this is who they put up as in us. Remember, they can't find who the fuck they are down here. They still dig in every place where black people are to find who they are. Well, since they couldn't find themselves here, they don't find themselves in outer space. Wait, you didn't get me. These fools are setting up a perceptual monolith of information in outer space where ain't nobody got color. These are the lions. There's some horrific looking motherfuckers. I see one of them, I'm beating down, drawing down on them. Wait, now here's another one. This is what they look like in their spaceships. I'm supposed to believe this. I'm supposed to say, yes, come and get us. Take me into the ship. Wait, Lord Michael. I don't know what the fuck that is in the middle there. But they are the Andromedans and the Pleiadians with Archangel Michael and the Council. I'm sorry for me getting raw, but you know, children, this is a Dr. Valentine lecture, and I'm going to go ahead and teach you. You all right? You all right with me, right? Don't got to get Christian up in here, do I? I'll leave right now. I am his love protecting here. I am his love protecting here. I am his love. Hell no. Oh my God, the great divine director. You got to understand what they are trying to do. They are trying to claim your future. They are trying to put down roots where they have none. They are trying to find a past for themselves so they can create a future. But guess what? Somebody's already come back to try to do that for them, as you will come to find. And of course, there's Jesus, the ascended masters, the divine director, Lord Maitreya, who ain't supposed to be here for another 5,000 to 9,000 years, but he's here anyway. They know what he looked like. And of course, there's Sanat Kumara from Venus. We ain't nowhere in the neighborhood. We'll be the hood, the galactic hood. And wait, there's Osiris. And look at Lady Gaga when she becomes Lady Nada. I'm showing you this because guess what? This is what they are using to put down roots for a future that belongs to you, that you had gotten jacked. This is your culture that they are brightening and whitening up. You know how they put the ultraviolet on your teeth so it gets white? Well, they don't put it on your history. Oh, wait a minute, here's another shot. Oh, man. Oh, man.
Johnny Twister.
Yeah. Now people wearing, this is ridiculous, but it's the way that they're playing us. It is the way that they're playing us. Wait a minute, here's another shot. There's Thomas conceptualized and created by Maia Kiara Martumid. Who the hell is that? Well, that's who that is. Oh. Of course she's going to start saying, I'm telling you, these creatures are out there, and they are the ones that get the money and the funding to push this new age into your mind and your children's mind. And if you don't stop it here, like we do it here with the black UFO, it's not an object as you come to find, it's actually a vehicle. It ain't just an object. You can throw a dishpan in the air, you can throw anything in the air and call it an object. These damn things have intelligence, and you'll find out. Now wait a minute, hold up. These are the creatures that keep pushing this bullshit to you. Drunvalo Melchizedek, Elizabeth Clare Prophet, and Ashayana D. These are the creatures. Now you begin to wonder why it is the Lyrans and all of them look like who? And of course they're telling you that they're actually putting on the veneer of those who came in. Well, here they go again. See? Check it. And you wonder? Ain't nobody black in outer space. Where are we? Who are we?
Hey, yes, yeah.
Who are we?
Yeah.
This must be the scariest shit in their dreams. To get into outer space and see these brothers. Well, guess what? Oh, I got something for you. If the technology works, I got something for you to watch. Now, these look more like extraterrestrials to me. I say we've been all over the neighborhood. If they're finding us in the Antarctic. They're finding us up in the Arctic. They're finding us down in the middle of the earth. They're finding us all over the goddamn planet. Why not in outer space? They did. Supposedly on the moon. A sister pilot. No, I'll tell you who they say we are. Researchers have just finished performing the most comprehensive genetic analysis of modern-day Africans ever. And their findings suggest that humans are more genetically diverse than we previously believed. Not only do Asians and Caucasians contain Neanderthal DNA that is not present in people of African descent, but we now know that modern-day Africans have DNA of an extinct hominid species not found in the DNA of Asians and Caucasians. Whoa! So now, they don't know where we came from, so they say that it's extinct. They don't want us to know that we were the original, so they'll say that they can't find where we came from. We came from some extinct shit that they can't trace. But they can trace their own. They can trace Neanderthal. But they can't trace you. Because you are the central race. Here. Oh yeah, this is what they got us looking like. And this is the best they can come up with. But of course, when they compare us, they show us right next to them. And what does he look like? Oh, this is his bright. I mean, this guy could step out of the picture and go work on Wall Street. The rest of us probably in a circus. Do you see?
I see.
Now, the reason why I'm bringing all this together, you have to understand that I am not distancing my nationalist, my Kemeto-centric mentality because I'm investigating parameters beyond the constraints of our minds, because I know who's running this particular paradigm. Oh, wait a minute, hold up. Oh, they don't come into, no, wait a minute, hold it now. Listen, y'all ain't had nothing to do with Kemet. Why? Because guess who's going to be playing Horus and guess who's going to be playing Seth?
During Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of Thrones. See, now, this is the other thing that most of us have really all caught up in. Here we got the gods of Egypt. Now, this is the most contradictory shit on the planet to even look at this. Here you have this cave maggot right there, next to a black to brown picture of Heru himself. fuck about you. And this brother can stand up there and give you the history of Hollywood when that Jew told him what happened in basketball will never happen in Hollywood. That was my teacher over there. When he said that, I said, okay, I got it. But then, wait a minute. Hold up. Beck, Heteru, look at the asshole they rock. Oh my God. That's rock.
Crazy. Is it me?
Shoot it, shoot.
Wait a minute, but then, oh, we got to see this. Wait a minute, hold up. Now you know that woman third from the left got to have been from Egypt. She had to look, come on. Is that a comedic face or is that a comedic face? These are the rest of the cast and the crew. What? In Africa? That creature there was in Africa? And look at this pedophile. This is the director. What else? I know. It's going to hurt even more. I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and put you through this. This is going to be agonizing, but it's going to be about me. All right, wait a minute now. Wait! Couldn't you wait for Batman to play Moses? Holy shit! From American Psycho to Batman to Moses. Okay? Now wait, hold up. You think that his picture right there was an accident? Look at the picture that he had and he was standing next to. This is the animation. Remember a long time ago the animation. I'm going to show you that nothing is by accident, and these bastards pre-planned years in advance. They pre-planned their images years in advance. How do you know that? Because look, Gods of Egypt in 2014. Check? Okay, well, wait a minute. It's the same goddamn template for what? The Prince of Egypt in 1998. And of course, it's your own smelly Steven Spielberg who, stealing your energies, is going to show you that, hey, it's not a big leap. It's the same people shoveling the same shit to you and your consciousness.
Yes, sir.
And you think that everything that they do is somehow an accident? No, it is not, because essentially they know who they're picking. This is from the cartoon in 1998, and that's him who ain't even yet on the screen. Accident? No. Pre-planned. And they got him as Moses, who is actually now morphing more and more into, you see him here, and you see the cartoon of him.
Your car went out.
Okay? There it is again.
Star Wars.
Yeah. But here, he is the template. He is the template. But wait! Why should we even be bothered getting angry at a goddamn myth? Why are Christians and other people so pissed off when they are playing their own and they are dealing with masturbating their own images on screen, on images and on people that never existed? Why would I give a flying roar? I don't. It's just a matter that what is being done to the images of our ancestors on screen is what I am assailing. It's the outright disrespect of known history. Now here you have Noah, and the Son of God. But then we told in our ancient texts that somehow Jesus, as Quetzalcoatl, walked among the savages of the South American Andes and brought the light of God to them. But then, am I supposed to become, what are we supposed to do? How do we feel about this? Do we say, nah? Oh, do we get into, do we start feeling, do we start, The audience will be enthralled, encouraged, and inspired when you come to see white people as your gods and goddesses, as the Son of God, coming down to give you little ignorant savages who all, by the way, look like they, from Eastern Europe anyway. They don't look like any of my Olmec ancestors. All right? But wait! When you ask T.D. Snakes about the other saviors that came along that told us what time it was, when you say, T.D., why don't you get up and start talking liberation? Oh, I don't know, man. A nigga can't get paid talking liberation now. Hold on there. A nigga can't get paid. Hold on. But wait a minute, you were over there by the Son of God, your mouth was open, screaming wide, testifying. When I say, what about liberation? What you gonna do? No, hold on, I'm gonna tighten up my lip. Hell no. Hell no. Not me. Liberation, no, nigga can't get paid. Talking liberation. And of course, did these faces have an influence on our people? Did this white Larian outer space coming down to give us and perpetuate the reality of white supremacy, has it had an effect on our people? Well, yes, it has. Yes, really good. But see, you can't just blame the sisters because there's some dumbass men doing the same shit. Y'all all right? This is supposed to be a UFO conference, right? Well, that's some unidentified shit today. Now, did the paled out skin, when they start talking about, oh, the girls were calling me on the phone talking about their skin was all blotched up? Well, eat better, goddammit. You know? Are we being influenced? Yes, they're being influenced to whiten their skin up and to push whitening of their skin. All over Africa, that is the new disease. Okay? Why? Why do our sisters and some of the brothers hate themselves that much? Because essentially we have this much programming going on. Okay? And now we see in outer space you can't find a dark person nowhere. You got to do in Jewish signals, you know, God live long and fuck you. That's some shit like that. Right? But when you got Star Trek, then you have Star Trek The Next Generation. Then Star Trek, they put you way out into Deep Space Nine where the brother comes up. They send that sucker by a wormhole. But then guess what? He's better than all of them who came before them because he was now worshipped as a god. See, you didn't pick that part of it out. That he became the messenger of God while he was out there. Ooh. And the brother had a family. The brother ruled, and he was the only one who ever kicked the ass of those who were kicking everybody else's ass that came before him. But nobody even knows about him. They don't talk about him. I am sick and tired of hearing about this goddamn Game of Thrones shit that you brothers and sisters are all hooked up into. Do you see what the fuck this is all about? It's about kissing white people's asses on the screen, subconsciously. Look at this shit here. You might as well be in the TV your damn self. Touching and feeling all over her. Who the hell is this bleached out goddamn? She has superpowers and can summon up dragons and shit. You can't find no person black in that history. Nowhere on TV today can you find anybody of command in color. Okay? They're jacking your past and your future. They're putting themselves in a place where they don't belong, so that they have a place that they belong in the future that they're creating with you not in it. Let's go back to Salam, S-A-A-M, or Sam, Supreme Anunnaki Assembly of Lord Marduk. You didn't know that this was an organization, did you? Well, it's inside. Used to be the present, a secret organization branching out from the NSA and the CIA-CIO. Their sole purpose is to keep King Marduk on the throne on earth as her righteous ruler, even after the return of the Sa-E-Mi from the whole planet. This is you, them taking on or snatching your Babylonian myths. They believe in prophecy and consider Marduk being the Antichrist the Bible has been predicting, and they had until 2012 to accomplish this goal. At least this is what their members believe, as revealed in leaked information from internal conversations or conversions being held on the secure Salma intranet server, from which the members could log in wherever they were on the globe to retrieve new information as needed. Marduk is purported to be a flesh and blood Anunnaki who sits atop the planetary Masonic Zion apparatus. So the plan was made, that's made mention in the Illuminati Zion protocols and carried out by Baal-worshipping Illuminates, is traced back to the Anunnaki. Supposedly there has been a split in the ranks of the Anunnaki, and Marduk is the usurper of the throne. Here, ladies and gentlemen, and according to some of the hacked detailed information on the sound site, is what a tall white extraterrestrial, so Nordic extraterrestrial looks like. That creature doesn't look human, it looks humanoid. Okay? Species, Nordic, 5 to 6 foot 5, blonde, pale white, male and female, telepathic. Well, the tall whites are here. They're under Hollywood contracts. You saw them in that next movie, Prometheus. Remember? Okay, so the tall whites are all over the place. Now wait a minute now, the tall whites are there. And the tall whites meet Earth's imbeciles. And you see that yourself.
Where they get that shit from?
The tall whites. These are the tall whites that rule. Here's where I want you to pay attention to this man. This man himself, his name is Norman Berggren. This man is the man that substantiated everything that, what's his name? Raleigh Martin had said about Saturn. He says, and I'm hoping that we could actually get this information. Is there a microphone plugged into the, into my computer? Are we plugged into the system so that they can hear this, please? Okay? You just put the microphone next to the front of the of where is my can you ready? Okay. I'm gonna go for it. Ah, wait a minute, hold up. Where is my computer? I have to hit it right on. This has to be heard. Yes, turn it around so I can see it in the front, because I have to be able to point at the screen, if I'm not mistaken. Do me a favor. Hold on a minute, people. I want you to hear this. Hold this, please. Let me have the microphone, please. We have the microphone, please. Okay, thank you. I want you all to listen to this very carefully, please. You hear it back there?
I'm gonna be a video. I see that.
Hang on, people. Hold on.
Your word's good enough, brother. Tell us what the crack I had to say.
So these were dark skinned.
Wait. All right, now, sorry for the technical difficulty, but you've got to hear this. All right, now, the dude is 90 years old. He had clearance above top secret, above the president. He knew about what was going on around Saturn and wrote a book. That book on the internet is $2,000. Okay? I got it. I downloaded it. If anybody wants it, I'll get it for them. Hang on. All right, now, are we jacked? Okay, hold on a second. Here we go. I'm going to have to do this three other times.
Right there.
Okay, ready?
Yeah. A craft, there are beings.
Okay, people have asked me about high-power vehicles.
Right.
Now, I did not call them objects. That was too new for me. I had a Stanford professor say, you ought to call them out, which no one really know. They have all the qualities of the vehicle. They can move, there's like a missile or anything like that. So that much we can say about them, for sure.
Okay.
So I'm calling it in. Okay, somebody comes along and says, well, where would you manufacture one that's 2.5 earthly small?
2.5 size of the earth.
And that's a hard question to answer. However, if you think of it in terms of its living entity,
The ship is alive.
And it can grow and grow and grow and grow.
Okay,
So the MV and it's self-evident.
So are you not positing the idea that those vehicles contain, beings who are, maybe like us?
At Alameda, shipyard. And they have a picture there of, I think it's, all the planted bugs and these were on. But anyway, there's one image there that shows most people getting off.
So people with dark skin getting off? Black skin. So people with dark skin getting off? Black skin. Were they tall? Very tall. How tall?
Well, they got up the doorway. I don't know how high that is.
Well, what?
Say 7 feet would be conservative estimate.
Harry White's.
Have you heard about Clark McClellan's statement about that?
No.
Oh, yeah? Have you ever been in touch with him?
No.
No?
I even tried to stay independent and not be affected by others' opinions. I would rather have what I appreciate clash with somebody else and see who wins. There is one image there that shows most people getting off.
Want to just repeat this?
So people with dark skin getting off? Black skin.
I just felt that it's necessary for you to understand what time it really is, and it takes a 90-year-old man who they don't want to get this information out. If you read his whole story, you find that they stuck him in a hole 5 to 10 layers under a mountain, and he had to quit because the box they kept him in so that he wouldn't get out with the information made him go stir crazy. So it's in his book that he shows that the ships that are around Saturn are alive, that they grow, and they feed upon certain energies that the rings are made of. And this is exactly what Raleigh Martin spoke about when he said he went up to the mothership and it was like a moon around Saturn. It was not really a moon, it was a ship. So here is this white man saying, they're really here. They exist. And there is a picture of Buzz Aldrin and another so-called astronaut getting off of their ship with a tall black man or black men looking like George Clinton. So the tall white is somehow suspect, especially when you see that the ones that are actually doing the work are essentially from a whole other strain that they don't want to mention. Except maybe old people who are nearing the grave and don't give a shit about their lives anymore and are not afraid of getting killed. These are some of the patches that exist that you really think, you don't think that they have space command. They do have a space command. They do have space vehicles. They have squadrons that essentially are now in outer space, circling the moon, circling Mars. They have people on Mars right now. And don't think it's so far-fetched because they make you believe it's far-fetched. It's not far-fetched. Folding space is what your ancestors have always done. Now, here's where we begin to connect the dots. The Animus are a semi-synthetic biological race of hyperdimensional origin. They are entities connected to the indirect emanations of the One. The Animus operate in a paradigm that mental energy is superior to emotional energy. The mind produces technology. Technology produces power. Power produces supremacy over other life forms. They dominate higher sentient life forms that are soul carriers for the purpose of integrating their DNA with their synthetic framework for the purpose of finding the proper genetic key code that would allow them to become soul carriers and thus enable them to interface and participate with the direct first order energies of the source. Everything that they do is indirect. That's why they can't even stand in the sun without getting burnt up. Understand that there's a connection that you're not paying attention to. Everybody asks, where the hell did all these white people come from? And why is it that they rule? They didn't have shit. We're the ones who were teaching them. They were knuckle dragging in the caves of Europe. How is it that they're out of space now? Because they jacked your timeline. And somebody is assisting them. They always copy your shit. What makes you think that they didn't? In this case, we keep believing the hype about their lordly presence and their, omnipotent being. And you don't understand that even when we play basketball, they copy your shit. When you dance, they copy your shit. When you play music, they copy your shit. Well, what makes you think that in outer space they ain't copying your shit? These forces, invisible to human senses, were hidden in the veils of energy that surround us. They act to indirectly influence humanity to become less empathetic towards each other and, like them, be more preoccupied in the use of mental energies. This will cause man to become less empathetic, more technologically based, and thus more amiable or amenable to conquest. And since humanity are soul carriers possessing the DNA programming of first-order entities with each direct connections to the source, that's what you have. Your melanin puts you direct in contact with the source. Okay? It would be simpler things to harness the pre-programmed or the reprogrammed soul carrier DNA to more easily combine with their own. This is their quest for evolution. Okay? Remember, we didn't say. They think that evolution stopped. This is why the so-called transhuman is now the new evolving human. It's called Homo evolutus. That's the new one. It's gone from Homo sapien to Homo sapiens sapiens to Homo evolutus. Thus, according to the leader of the court here named Mahu Nahi, codenamed James, the Animus desire their own, to own this planet and add it to its colonization plans for the purpose of owning humanity's genetic library. As a synthetic race, they have learned to hyper-develop their mental materialistic faculties and clone themselves to serve the purpose of their colonization program. However, their need to diversify in consciousness has caused them to send probes into different galaxies where planets like Earth will offer them that opportunity. They desire to become as soul carriers, an ability reserved for pure biological organisms. Synthetic organisms are not able to carry the higher frequencies of soul, which absolutely require a molecular atomic bioorganic nervous system. It means that from the air and from the mind and from the essence of the creator itself is where you come from, which connects you directly to source. They are harmonic variations of your thought processes, of other higher thought processes that cannot go directly to the source for energy. So they cause your emotional energy to be hyper amplified by fear, by distrust, by war, by killing, and then feed from that shit. Like vampires, that's where the first vampire came from. So understand, the animals wish to modify the essential nature of their second order being with genetic engineering, to modify their synthetic-based anatomies to enable them to house a spiritualized consciousness. They want unfettered access to our DNA in order to conduct trans-evolutionary experiments. And here we go. Human versus robot. Transhumanism through techno-eugenics. This is where they want to go. That is the symbol of the new human plus, H plus. Transhumanism is a class of philosophies of life that seek to the continuation and acceleration of the evolution of intelligent life beyond its currently human form and human limitations by means of science and technology guided by life-promoting principles and values. This is a lie. You cannot go beyond this particular framework unless the genetics have created the foundation for you to take on a whole other body. The secret is to get your mind together to change the mind of the cells that keep you locked down in the present perceptual construct that you're in. The cells are keeping you locked here because they are programmed to this everyday bullshit. They're programmed to the way you eat and the ingredients that you eat. They're programmed to the lies and to the hurt and to the pain, to all the deviant sexual bullshit and all the sick education. Your cells are made up of this crap. So how are you going to transcend out of it if you're in lockdown to it? The way you do that is by cleansing your mind and your thought process of all the lockdown energies that keep you here so that you can transcend. This body is not supposed to be kept forever. The only reason somebody wants you to live to 1,000 years artificially is because they don't think there's anything on the other side for them. There has never been anything spiritual to come out of Europe. Name me one goddamn thing that Europe ever gave to us spiritually, metaphysically. Nothing.
Can't do it.
Not one spiritual thing has ever come out of Europe, and you're going to tell me that they all of a sudden now are in connection with some kind of higher being that's going to give them some kind of spirituality? No. Lies and vicious rumors. And this is the man that created the whole transhuman thing. He called in transhumans the earliest manifestation of the new evolutionary beings. He called it transitional human. That's where transhumanism came from. This guy changed his name and called himself FN 2030 because that's when he said he was going to die. He died in 19 some change. You know? So much for his thing. But listen to this. He says, he argued that signs of transhumans include physical and mental augmentations, including prosthesis, reconstructive surgery, intensive use of telecommunications, a cosmopolitan outlook, and a globe-trotting lifestyle, androgyny, mediated reproduction, such as in vitro fertilization, absence of religious beliefs, and a rejection of traditional family values. Read what he says. How we win. They can't win any other way. They have to become something other than what they are. They don't know what that is because they have no spiritual contact with what they are. They cannot know that they're greater than the sum of their parts because they have no interfacing mechanism. Their pineals are what? Calcified. And what does calcified mean? It means it's covered with a substance that makes it soft and gooey, not hard. It is when the pineal, which is shaped like a penis, is hard and has a pure crystalline resonance around it that you start picking up frequencies of God. But when it's flaccid and covered with a goo, that's when it is calcified and can't pick up shit. And 85 to 90% of Caucasians have calcified pineal glands. And only 15% of Africans. Gridlock. You want to make? You think that we have not yet started the transition towards a transhuman state? Well, think again. We are already there. This guy has a prosthetic eye. This woman and this man has prosthesis in their arms. Rise of the cyborgs. They are coming here. Now, I got it. Check them out. Now I want you to look at the kind and listen to the kind of matter of fact reality
well, we're thinking of a whole variety of options for how you can do better at authentication. So you can start with
they call it tagging you authentication.
tokens or fobs that might have an NFC or Bluetooth embedded in them. But you can also think about a means of authentication that you can simply wear on your skin every day for a week at a time, say an electronic tattoo. Now, we're talking about wearables. Everybody's interested in wearables. I'm profoundly interested in wearables. And what I will tell you is that there are we've made a lot of advances in wearables, but there's still some fundamental problems that we haven't solved. Like one of them is the mechanical mismatch between humans and electronics, right? So electronics are boxy and rigid, humans are curvy and soft. That's a mechanical mismatch problem. Well, a researcher at the University of Illinois, his name is Dr. Rogers, what he discovered is that he could use standard CMOS techniques to make islands of high-performance silicon connected by accordion-like structures that would allow it to stretch up to 200% and still be performing. And what he did is he founded a company and they started making electronic tattoos. So I'm wearing one here on my arm.
We have camera to get a...
This is a developmental system made by MC10, and it has an antenna and some sensors embedded in it. And what we plan to do is work with them to advance a tattoo that could be used for authentication. Now, it may be true that 10 to 20-year-olds don't want to wear a watch on their wrist, but you can be sure that they'll be far more interested in wearing an electronic tattoo, if only to piss off their parents. Right?
And that can have a design, right? Because they would certainly want some kind of cool design.
Options. And that's something that you wear, but you could also imagine including authentication in just your daily habits. So I take a vitamin every morning. What if I could take vitamin authentication?
What?
Vitamin authentication. Look, I have one right here. Well, here, I'll let you hold it. Would you like to hold it?
I'll hold it.
Okay. So,
You guys see it?
this pill has a small chip inside of it with a switch. It also has what amounts to an inside-out potato battery. When you swallow it, the acids in your stomach serve as the electrolyte, and they power it up, and the switch goes on and off. And it creates an 18-bit ECG-like signal in your body, and essentially your entire body becomes your authentication token. Yes, this is true. Okay, so wait. So it's really true. So what this means is that becomes my first superpower. I really want this superpower. It means that my arms are like wires, my hands are like alligator clips. When I touch my phone, my computer, my door, my car, I'm authenticated in. First superpower. Like, I want that.
So we're not shipping that right away?
Yeah, no. We're not shipping that right away. But it sounds like...
This is FDA cleared?
So here's the thing. This is not science fiction. This pill is actually made by a company called Proteus. And they've developed it for medical applications. That pill has been CE stamped and cleared by the FDA. You can take 30 of those per day for the rest of your life.
And what happens? Does your heart beat change?
We can just tell that you've taken the pill. I mean, the medical application...
Does Google now know everything I do and everywhere I go? Because, let's face it, we let you guys, but you're from Google.
Just give him some water and let him
Thanks.
Maybe Dennis, let me ask you, does Larry make you take one?
So we actually have demoed this working and authenticating phone.
Yeah.
Now, do you see how, matter of fact, they treat setting you up so that you become a cybernetic organism? Your body will become entrained to the point where it will not be able to operate without some kind of connection to an artificial source. And they have already started the experimentation all over Africa at this time through Africom. There is no species on this planet that will not have a barcode, including human beings. If you think that the alien technology that we're speaking about is not connected to the technology that we're dealing with at this point, think again. I am not just up here to try to entertain you by giving you 7 and 10 different diverse subjects to try to chew on. They're all interrelated. And if you don't see the synchronicity of them getting us familiarized, that woman used to head DARPA. You know what DARPA is, right? This is the defense apparatus for all kinds of experimental technologies in biowarfare, in communications warfare. She headed it up. Now she's headed up Google. I thought this was very interesting, where this guy, in order to kind of act as a, he wanted to kind of make a statement. He said that he created an artificial product called Gen Pets. He said Gen Pets are not toys or robots, they're living, breathing genetic animals. We used to call them micro injection, which is quickly becoming a favorable method to combine DNA or to insert certain proteins from different species. Most notable, it was used in 1997 to splice mice with bioluminescent jellyfish, and has been used since to grow glowing rabbits, pigs, fish, monkeys. Now he's taking real experiments and putting it together with a fabrication of his to show you how easily we can become accustomed to having a life form that is part human and part animal sitting on your shelf that can be activated by pouring water or doing something on it. You are being conditioned. Look at this fool. He's getting nails hammered into his skull. Because again, the lack of melanin does not give you a touch or put you in touch with anything higher than yourself. It keeps you locked into your mundane world. And because of the lack of melanin and sometimes a very high amount of epinephrine crossing through your veins, you need to constantly drink alcohol in order to process whatever little bit of heme iron into, or ferrous iron into hemoglobin iron. So that's why you see in the beginning of all their scenes in Hollywood, every time you see some white man way up in the high office, he's pouring some kind of alcohol for him to suck down. It's because that's keeping his hemoglobin going, artificially. Of course, they're not the only ones. You're going to see all kinds of cybernetic entities. Everybody that's fused with technology, and you're going to love them because they're going to look superhero-like. Look at RoboCop. Don't you want a RoboCop? Don't you want to be like RoboCop? Don't you want to put on RoboCop suit, kick ass, and take names? Well, that's exactly what they're selling to you. And look at my boy up there, the superhero that's supposed to be coming out, Cyborg. All right? And of course, the Borg up here. And of course, they got the brothers locked down in this as well. And this is some new program that they got on there called, come on, you all watch TV. What's the name of this? Almost Human. Almost Human. Almost Human. Y'all should get to that. Oh, wow. King Simon. I didn't know he was playing on Broadway. In the movies. But you know what they're doing as well? They're actually tabbing roaches. And they have cockroaches and different types of bugs and animals that can be running around the hood right now, monitoring you. Why is it? Why is it? Why is it? Why has the Pentagon and Hollywood spent hundreds of billions in entertainment dollars to endear us to the cyborg? Why is it that we know all about these and we've become familiarized with these half-human, half automatons, and we have kind of endeared them to ourselves? Why? What is it about this connection between the artificial and the organic that we are now interested in? What is it? What is it about this here? Transcendence. We just saw Transcendence, didn't you? Transcendence just came. What is the name of this guy? Interesting, most people didn't even pick up his name. His name is Will Castor. What is a will? Will is a faculty of consciousness. Watch. The power and control of the mind has over its own actions. What's a caster? A caster is a mythical and supernatural being with the ability to use magic known as casting. And anybody who's seen the movie Beautiful Creatures, that's what they call the witch. A caster. So here you have a will caster in a machine. In a movie called Transcendence, and you know that's what I've been constantly dealing with. Always at the end of my thing, I always say love, life, and transcendence, but nothing like this. And of course, you're gonna love it. This guy is kicking ass again. He's got a humanoid robots, and of course, you know it's your boy. He's got a new movie coming out called Edge of Tomorrow, where he is all cybered out. We are constantly being given all kinds of different types of things, but you know what? Every time this European puts something down and he starts something, he always fucks it up. I don't care what he does, he will not go beyond a certain amount of time before the earth takes him over and takes him out. That's why he wants to get off this planet. He's trying to get back to wherever it is that will accommodate his sickness. Now, blank slate technology is intent manipulation through interactive time travel. Now, why is that very important? It's important because blank slate technology is a form of time travel that enables the user to rewrite history. Remember what I said? To rewrite history at what are called intervention points. Intervention points are causal energy points that instigate major events like the fall of Kemet, the assassination of Malcolm or Lumumba, or the Second Seminole War. Intervention points are codependent on both time and space. In other words, BST requires a precise fix on both the time and space coordinates of an event when it was in its conceptual stages or the stage that precedes physical manifestation of the event. The space component is usually a physical person or on occasion the abilities of the invisibility, teleportation, or interstellar travel, and may be used solely for defensive purposes. That's what they tell you. The Labyrinth group is thus attempting to create an ingress point into the consciousness time stream, intercept the first thought from the animus where they decided to invade Earth, and redirect that thought through an intervention point in vertical time. When the most well-suited intervention point is found and decided upon, ENS, or people using the advanced avatar-based remote viewing technology, will use BST to create a blank memory slate of the whole race at the moment of the exact thought, and then insert a new thought, perhaps an impression that gives them thought, like Earth is not a good planet for us, let's move somewhere else and never come back. This, in spite of how dangerous it sounds, is the plan in a nutshell. The very nature of BST is to start with a blank slate consciousness to reinvent, reformulate, and recreate the consciousness of matter. BST is the most advanced technology on the planet, and anyone in possession of BST has the capability to defend themselves against any aggressor. Codename 15 calls it the freedom key. BST is a composite technology of 5 discrete and interrelated technologies. The first technology is a specialized form of remote viewing. The second technology is the key to BST, is the equivalent of memory implant. The third technology consists of defining the intervention point. In every major decision, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of intervention points in horizontal time as a thought unfolds and moves through its developmental stage. However, in vertical time, there is only one intervention point or causal seed. If you can access vertical time intelligence, you can identify the intervention point that is the causal seed. The fourth technology is related to the third. It's a scenario modeling technology. This technology helps to assess the various intervention points as to their least invasive ripple effects to the recipient. The fifth is the interactive time travel technology. This technology requires an operative or a team of operatives to be able to physically move into vertical time and to insert in the precise space and time where the optimal intervention point has been determined. Now, what are we speaking of? The biggest problem with conventional physics is that it's based on 3, perhaps 4 dimensions. It fails to understand a multidimensional perspective of consciousness. The traditional science and engineering are based on outdated traditional physics. Traditional physics has progressed very little in the last 70 years, and therein lies the biggest problem for UFO skeptics. They just cannot look beyond the large wall of doubt they created for themselves, fixed by the old perceptions of an antiquated paradigm. We are still nowhere compared to the multidimensional nature of the parallel universes and the concept of bending time and space. Matter ultimately dissolves into octaves of light, and light dissolves into octaves of consciousness, and consciousness dissolves into octaves of reality. Thus, matter, light, consciousness, and reality are all interdependent like an ecosystem. And like an ecosystem, if you change one element, you affect the whole. So isolating any of the elements contained within the light-encoded reality matrix, or the learn, and changing it changes reality. This is a fundamental construct of blank slate technology. Now, what is the learn? The light-encoded reality matrix is essentially an infinite field of possibilities, like fertile soil from which physical objects are created. Those who are orchestrating or can orchestrate the learn through the application of their consciousness are able to manifest reality and not simply react to it. Listen to that. This manifestation can be instantaneous because, again, quantum objects originate in non-time and non-space. Okay? I'm giving you some heavy information to go home and learn. Time is vertical, with every moment in existence stacked upon the next and all coinciding with one another. In other words, time is a collective of all moments of all experience simultaneously existing within non-time, usually referred to as eternity. Vertical time infers that one can select a moment of experience and use time and space as the portal to access it. Once the selection is made, time and space become the continuity factor that changes vertical time to horizontal, linear, or conventional time. Is time travel even feasible concept to contemplate, or just some more science fiction that will never become science fact? Well, according to University of Connecticut physics professor Dr. Ronald L. Malat, a world-renowned expert on time travel and relativity, and the subject of an upcoming film by Spike Lee, time travel is anchored in real solid physics, not science fiction. Time travel has become a reality, and we've already taken baby steps in the lab where we've actually been able to make particles move faster through time. We have developed equations for a time machine, and what I have discovered is that lasers play a significant part in time travel. He is the author of the 2006 Science Monitor, Time Traveler, a scientist's personal mission to make time travel a reality. Now, all of you brothers who actually are sisters, who actually believe that everything that we've been saying for the last 20 years about space and time travel and going to the other parts of the universe only because white people are doing it, time to rethink what you think is real. Time to stop falling for the okie-doke that people keep giving us about our mundane, slave-ass reality, and that we were over here chucking in the jungle with bones in our noses instead of walking the stars. Your ancestors were part of the universe, not just on this little piece of dirt. You are all over creation. You just forgot. Everybody else is thinking about the stars. Everybody else is thinking time travel. Everybody else is thinking about going to other planets and visiting other dimensional portals, except us. And when we introduce it, people think we're crazy because we're not worried about the political structure. Well, when you understand this, you understand why the political structures and the economic structures and your religious structures and your educational structures, everything having to do with your reality, you understand now why it's the same and it has not changed. And why you are being locked down and kept the way you are. This is why. There is something greater helping this creature. There got to be. There's no way he can get all this technology like he has. Well, this, I am going to give you a touch of what's in my book. Now you're going to know what your ancestors talked about. Because it's in my book, Cosmic Codex, Book of the Earth. Understanding the metaphysical velocities of being, the macrocosmic ontogeny of the God-man, and the science of corporeal transcendence, bridging the historic with the metahistoric. Brothers and sisters, your ancestors' technology for time and space travel. We didn't need no stinking ships. We did not need a goddamn ship to leave the planet. You can leave the planet when you want to if you knew how. They need ships. And I keep telling you all, if there's any ships landing from someplace else, know that anything that needs a ship to travel, run from them. Because you know why? Look at what this creature is that's running the planet down here. He's caught up in all kinds of shitty technology. What makes you think that that creature that's inside of that ship is any different than the developmental psyche of the motherfucker that's over here using the technology on you? The highest and most advanced civilizations have no technologies. Let me say that a minute. I want you to understand that. The most advanced spiritual civilizations on the planet have no technologies. They don't need it.
That's right.
Technologies are for people who feel that they cannot bridge what is inside of them to find the God space within, to move mountains, to change genetic codings, to change atomic structures with their minds. You have these little feeble things. You can feel the mind power working. You know what the mind power does when you get horny, right? Come on, you sit in place and you start thinking about a good sexual part, and all of a sudden all the juices start flowing and you start to growing and you're just kind of sitting down and you're trying to, I'll stand up in a minute, just give me a minute, I just have to take a minute. Why? Because your mind made your body react. Now, if your mind can get that woody, what can it do? Get that woody. You are a mind-operative creature. You are a gas-powered engine with a mind-powered body. You are mind before you are body. And your mind keeps showing your body exactly who you are. But you're not ignoring it. It's just become passé. It just becomes the little things that you exercise in your brain. If you can focus all that energy from down here to up here, oh, whoa. What can we accomplish? There go your time traveler from out of Africa and out of India. That's your spaceman. Now, check it. Here is the man that they stole most of their ideas from. Dr. B. Ganapati Svapati is the resurrector of the ancient Indus-Kush high science called Vastu and Vaastu. Look, read, study. I'm putting you back in touch with who you are. The 10,000-year-old science founded by the Dravidian Imhotep named Mahamuni Mahayan, or Mahmuni Mayan. It was called the Vaastu Satra. Today it is called the Mayonic Sciences. Grandmaster Ganapati, who just passed away, said, this science deals with the eternal process of subtle energy manifesting into material space or material form. See, he's not the originator of this. What else did he say? The first thing we must understand is that life itself is a geometric container. Everything now that we are stuck in is an agreement. We have agreed to do this. We signed the contract and we're following it to the letter. We must decipher how absolute space or pure consciousness condenses to become material forms. Consciousness originates from nil time, nil space, emanating as a form of energy that is the foundational soil of all being. Consciousness resonates or resonations fold to become localized or physicalized as a human, animal, or plant. As consciousness becomes a localized physical object, it essentially orchestrates the light-encoded reality program within to conform to a reality matrix that has been encoded into the genetic or physical properties of the object it has become. Thus, consciousness moves from nil time, nil space to become matter, and then it orchestrates the light-encoded transmissions or light-encoded transmissions of the emanating one to produce a physical reality consistent to the encoded genetic properties of the physical object it has become. If that entity is a man, M-A-N, Mem, Alf, Nun, mother, father, son, then the genetic triggers that are uniquely human become the tools of consciousness from which it constructs its reality. Now, take that home and break it down, because I don't have time. It's for you. I'm giving you a touch of what is in our university. This is a picture of the man who created the science. And everywhere you see Shiva, or anytime you see Shiva with locks, it is depicting Mahamuni Mahayana. And he is Dakshinamurti, the teacher. When Shiva is portrayed with dreadlock hair, it is always a depiction of Mahamuni Mahayana. The God-man Mahamuni Mahayana wrote, listen, there exists an order in the universe. There is a subtle universe and a material universe. This power is attributed to the consciousness of cosmic space, as well as to the consciousness of the inner space of animate beings. That means that inside of you, there is a conscious space that is in connection to the conscious space outside of you. And when you come into oneness and interface with that, this consciousness, by its personal effort to express its own inner feelings, causes a kind of vibration or pulsation in the inner spaces of animate beings, resulting in their auric energy fields. So the vibration of the outside non-personal energies vibrating in tune with the internal inside vibration of trees causes this aura to be given off that shows that you are in communication with the aura. Listen carefully. The vibrational pulsation being the causal element of all these events is called Ka'ala. This is actually the force of energy aroused by the inner consciousness, causing waves and contributing to the growth of all living forms. The Ka'ala resides in all living beings. Space is the offshoot of the vibration of primordial energy. This is how space was born. All forms of nature are manifest forms of subtle energy. For all to get manifested, the force is Ka'alam. This waveform frequency realm is the creative element of the universe. More information that needs pre-existing information to help you understand, but read it anyway. Through precise mathematical formulas, Mahamuni Mahayana was able to create the process that synthesized pure consciousness or absolute space into material consciousness and incorporated that process into architectural structures such as public buildings, temples, and statues, as well as into ritual dance, music, and other forms of human consciousness expression. It is within the framework of this ancient science that we will decipher and eventually recode and redesign the cellular architectures of an entirely new and unrepeated, unretrogressive dimensional consciousness paradigm for all of humanity. To understand the true metaphysical meaning of space-time, we must reconfigure our perception of time as merely the organized regimentation ticks of a clock. Time, as defined and described by the ancient masters, is a pulse of movement in the beginningness or beingness of absolute space. It is a pulse of movement in the beingness of absolute space. The 8 gunas or elements grow from one another because of time. As a result of that movement or pulse against the fabric or membrane of space, only light arises. So what are they saying? They're saying that the pulse pushing against the membrane of space creates light. See, your ancestors are too deep for them. It is the resistance of the own light that creates light. In other words, they say, let there be light. Well, the light was the verb when it said let there, when the voice, when the sound and the vibration went against the membrane of space, light was created. As time and the Om light commingle and flow together within space, Om sound arises. Space, time, Om light, and Om sound commingle, flow together and condense to form the element air. These all flow together, commingle, and condense to form fire, and so on. The entire process of becoming is based on the stepping down of frequency pulses that eventually become the domain of sentient life in various dimensional densities. Mahayana saw time, or Ka'alam, as a process in which absolute space commingles with itself to create Om light, or self-awareness, which then commingles with space to manifest Om sound, or perception. And all of those individual elements, time, space, light, sound, air, fire, water, and earth, mix, unite, and flow together, ultimately manifesting as the material world. Time becomes the source element, represented as hydrogen. Time becomes hydrogen. Time is the primordial element to all manifested being. Now, who knew that time was an element? Your ancestors did. Everybody thinks time is just something that is, the sun comes up, it goes down, it comes up, it goes down, it reminds you, day, night, that's time. No! Time is a substance, which is why they are trying to travel through it. You travel through the air, don't you? Wait, did you get what I just said? Yeah. You travel through the air in what? In airplanes. Right? You travel through water? Elementals? Submarines? Water? You travel through earth in these new machines. Why can't you travel through time? Now that you know it's an element. Check? So now we know that time is hydrogen, the source element. Time is the creative source of all objects. This is what Mahayana said. It is time that changes into form. It is time that blossoms into the universe, and Ka'alam thus does wonders. And here we have the hydrogen matter. Listen carefully. More from our school. Matter is a geometric illusion. All particles in the universe have smaller particles within them that carry the signature frequencies of divine intention, capable of aligning with the template signatures of human thought for material expression in third density. Spinning triangles and cubes surround every sentient particle like a chrysalis. Every particle in the universe begins by being conscious as itself and seeks to individuate confines of the holographic human to become conscious of itself. Ooh. Okay, you're getting PhD and beyond. It starts being conscious as itself. Therefore, a fire element don't know what the hell a water element is. A water element don't know what an earth element is. They are disparate and just conscious as themselves. When they come together in your body, when they consolidate in the temple of the Most High, they become conscious of themselves. That's when the fire, the air, the water, and the earth become the W-O-R-D, made flesh. Yes. Church, can I get an amen? Can I get a yes? Hallelujah! Now you know what the word means. The word simply means that you have all four elements operating as the foundational principles in your body. And how do they become conscious of themselves? Easily, in your four senses. You don't have five senses. The last sense, touch, is a sensation, not a sense, because it is not conscious. Your eyes are run by fire, so it is conscious. Fire becomes conscious as sight. Your hearing becomes conscious, your air becomes conscious as your hearing. Your taste becomes conscious as water. Or water becomes conscious as your taste. And your scent becomes conscious as earth, or the earth becomes conscious as scent. That's your smell. So you have the word of God on your face. You carry all four of the elements here. And they become conscious of themselves, and your thought process fucks them up every day. Because you insult the air, you insult the fire, you insult the water, and you insult the earth, and you call it disease. Wow. Let the church say amen. Amen. Way to have it. Way to have it. Way to have it. And chromosomes of each species as a pulse of perception that matches the pulse of intention expressed by the omniscient creator mind. Our chromosomes, chromo meaning time, color, somes meaning body. In the beginning God created heaven and earth, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Qualities of matter are actually differentiations in periodicity. In biology, geometrical proportion demonstrates that every atom of every molecule is being charged, replaced, or upgraded. Genetic coding is a vehicle of replication and continuity. Continuity equals time. Time equals perception through particle motion. DNA is a helical algorithm comprising a set of fixed, symmetric, asymmetric geometrical proportions. In the realm of matter, time qualifies the consciousness capacitance of its atomic pulse through DNA, setting the cognitive thresholds of created biological forms. In other words, time to a spider, time to a fish, to a bird, or an amoeba is based upon the pulse of perception, qualifying the molecular atomic ingredients that make up their individual forms. So time to a bird, time to a spider is based upon the genetics that form the outer body. Your body now goes through at least 10 different biological models before it becomes a human inside of the womb. Each animated entity organizes time and space within third density through their individual species-specific matrix of perception as elemental and environmental distinctions encompassing height, depth, breadth, width, length, volume, and distance, and shapes their behavioral housing to operate within these perceptual structures. Oh, okay, now wait a minute, hold on. We're going to have the skeptics corner now. Why don't you give the skeptics corner? The Skeptics Corner says that the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, sponsored by the Imperial Japanese Mission, headed by Viscount Ishii in 1917, this man, who actually wrote your educational system that's dysfunctioning you today, said, someone remarked that the best way to unite all nations on this globe would be an attack from some other planet. In the face of such an alien enemy, people would respond to the sense of their unity of interest and purpose. Bill Cooper said, many years ago I had access to a set of documents that I eventually realized was a plan for the destruction of the United States of America and the formation of a socialist totalitarian world government. The plan was contained within a set of top secret documents with the title Majestic 12. Within Majestic 12 is Operation Majority, justifying the plan for presenting an extraterrestrial threat as the reason for the necessity for world government. Ooh. When I saw Operation Majority while serving in the Navy, I believed the alien threat was real, just like everyone else. It was not until I had performed many years of research that I was able to fully understand exactly what it was that I had seen. It was extremely difficult for me to believe that my government and the United States Navy had used me, especially since I had dedicated my life to government and military service. Most government and military personnel cannot and will not believe such an idea. The plan is real. The extraterrestrial threat is artificial. The threat is presented through the use of secret technology originally developed by the Germans in their secret weapons program during World War II by geniuses like Nikola Tesla and many others. There's another man from the Skeptics Corner. In 1974, Carol Rosen, school teacher, surrogate speaker, and advocate for Dr. Werner von Braun, said that we're going to have the is what he said would happen. He said pollution, intentionally pollute the earth with chemtrails, industrial pollution, international oil disasters. He says dictators, fabricating enemies, terrorists. He said nuclear threats, dirty suitcase bombs, sabotage nuclear power plants. Then he said alien threat before he died. Well, here they are. What is this? Take a look. You want to know how they're going to start changing you from human? Well, here's one of the parts. It's the cybergenetic manipulation, Operation Iron Sky, high dexterity remote manipulation of synaptic and neuronal function in every human being on planet Earth. Well, here we are, beloved brothers and sisters. What is in Operation Iron Sky and what is in your chemtrails? Well, this is exactly what is contained in the chemtrails that you see above you in the sky. Most people still ain't looking up. Most people are still not paying attention to what is up there. Aluminum arsenic, barium salts, lithium neobate, strontium, mold salts, desiccated erythrocytes, that's blood cells, strontium, ethylene dibromide, titanium shards, radiocesium, sulfate particles, potassium cyanide, copper oxide, copper sulfate, lithium tantalite, potassium iodide, mycoplasma, which is cancer cells, nanobots, uranium, mercury, lead, polymer fibers. Our air, listen very carefully, our air, breathable atmosphere, is supposed to resonate in a neutral frequency. Air must be neutral to support life. It is not supposed to be artificially charged. The metallic salts seeded into the air create conductive particles. If you get a black light from Home Depot and go outside on a moonless night after heavy chemtrail spraying, you'll see all these fibers floating around that you're breathing in. It's called the dry particle storm. This is how they're going to start reprogramming yourselves. Rain is caused when dust particles in the air nucleate or gather moisture into raindrops. So dust that the desert blows up goes up into the atmosphere and traps the rain and brings it down. The dust particles cause the drops to become heavy and unstable, and voila, it rains. But artificially seeded metallic salts, listen, particles cause water vapor to form extremely tiny little droplets that remain stable, and therefore no rain. Thus, the smaller the particle, the more stable the droplet. You can create cloud-like masses simply by releasing smaller particles into the air. These cloud masses would not form, but instead spread outward to form a haze, like you see. This is the formula for stratospheric aerosol geoengineering. Heavy spraying days precede weather fronts. It's right before it rains is when they spray, so that water can get down into you. Since the more conscious members of the general population began making note of artificial cloud patterns and researching for answers as to the purpose of their existence, the main propaganda spin regurgitated from the military-fed media has been, it's a counter-strategy to global warming. Lies! It's causing more global warming. However, chemtrails are part of a multi-stage weapons system costing hundreds of billions of dollars, part of which is funded by the Microsoft founder and vaccine fanatic, Bill Gates. In fact, a large balloon now hovering at 80,000 feet over Fort Sumner, New York, New Mexico, again, New York, will release toxic sulfates into the atmosphere beginning this summer. The entire chemtrail project has 5 distinct functions. One is an atmospheric densifier to create a medium for the concentration, focus, and utilization of electromagnetic charged particle plasma beam weaponry. Chemtrails are the medium, directed energy is the method. As a means of tracking interdimensional space-time energy warps or anomalies in the Earth's atmosphere for the purpose of monitoring the comings and goings of hyperdimensional extraterrestrial visitations from dimensions and other planets. That's what that's about too. As a scalar wave atmospheric superheater for weather modification and tectonic frequency destabilization weapon. In other words, it can create what? Earthquakes. To to manufacture environmental disasters and artificial famine, all for the purpose of the gradual mass extermination of black and brown populations worldwide. As a vector for nanofiber propagation for that mind control researcher, for what mind control researcher John Engler calls install bioapps, biometric application programming interface for everyone on Earth through disbursement of nanofibers. These nanofibers essentially, and this is what we deal with, electronic, I'm speeding up so that you can get this information on there. These things are attached to your genitals, to your eyes, to your ears, to your temples, and they look something like this when you put it under refraction. The glass orbs are around you, you don't see them. Okay? And they're used as transmitters and receivers because they have great refractory and optical properties. They're also capable of transmitting digitalized and analog sound. Barium is extremely refractive, more refractive than glass. And trained plasma orbs carried on electromagnetic beams can be used for mind control programming. Satellites can be programmed to track and monitor various frequencies emanating from different parts of your body. A beam with entrained orbs carries pictures. In each orb, like different frames in a movie, is particle beam with a frequency weapon. And here we have, and I want you to see this part, virtual and augmented mind control. That's what the Air Force says they would have by 2025. Now, this allows for frequency mapping of the auric energy signatures of humans externally, but the aerosol has been upgraded to embed synthetic neurons into the neurosynaptic networks of the entire brain. Each synthetic neuron comes equipped with its own tethering nanowires that would adhere and interlace with the organic neurons of the brain. Satellites can then track and monitor various frequencies on different parts of your body. Same thing that woman was talking about. Now, let me go back very quickly. Okay. Let's see if we can get this to work. No, we can't. Hold on. This doesn't have any sound. Smart dust, everyone. Smart dust, it's called. NASA calls it swarmer or sensor swarms. Because of the last 100 years of hyper-industrialization, scientists at NASA came to the conclusion that the natural evolutionary cycle of Earth has a quantum life-bearing and supporting entity, as a quantum life-bearing and supporting entity has drastically been shortened. That is, the natural periodic intervals where each stage is achieved and mastered within their own encoded time cycles. Thus, scientists now believe that we have stepped far outside the parameters governing our natural encoded evolutionary cycles, that they need to jumpstart the cosmic evolution machine through artificial intervention based on genomic redesign and repair, cross-species molecular breeding, and direct evolution technology. Smart dust is the hypothetical wireless network of tiny micro electromechanical sensors or MEMS, robots or devices that can detect light, temperature, or vibration. The devices or motes will eventually be the size of a grain of sand or even a dust particle, with each mote having self-contained sensing, computation, communication, and power. This is what it looks like, what a wireless, autograph, or bifunctional porous smart dust collected together around a magnetic core. Here is the smart dust. This was the first place that you saw smart dust was in a book called The Invincible in 1964. Smart dust devices would be based on sub-voltage and deep sub-voltage nanoelectronics. Remember we spoke about this in 2000 called nanogenetic mind control. NASA calls these the storm, and here's some other look at the dust storms there. You see how they're shaped. You can read these. They're called nanites. Thoughts construct encoded electromagnetic signature patterns that in turn create covalent chemicals that the brain creates to match the emotional signatures created at the moment the thought is issued. The consciousness of the cell is then modulated to respond to the light-encoded intention, which then precipitates the action or response. The word covalent means chemical bonds forming by sharing electrons between atoms. Thus, emotions are actually qualified atoms. So they have now marginalized your feelings down to the atomic structure and know how each emotion constitutes a molecular atomic template that they can actually imitate in your body, just by broadcasting the template of that electromagnetic signature into your body. Most of this, most people don't have any knowledge of. It's happening to a lot of white folks. The black folks may be acclimating to this and don't know it. The people who are breaking out from Morgellons syndrome may be rejecting it. There are 3 different types of kingdoms: the bacteria, the archaea, and the eukaryote. Now, bacteria and archaea are simple organisms with no subcellular compartments. Eukaryota are more complex with defined internal compartments and organelles. Plants, animals, and humans are eukaryotic, together with fungi and slime molds. Archaea are most durable and rugged in the three life forms, able to withstand extreme heats and cold, as well as grinding pressure, acidity, and alkalinity. Now, what they are doing is fusing you with the archaea, where you were part of a phylum distinct from that. This whole chemtrails and interfacing you with other life forms so that you can become another kind of creature to be able to be walked in on. See, what I'm saying to you is this UFO situation is much deeper than just planes and ships flying around with little grays in it. It's about you being marginalized and your body being compartmentalized so that you become host to something. Why do they want, what is this madness about becoming different from being a human being? What's wrong with being a human being except having to deal with this crazy motherfucker every day? Nothing. Why can't we live the way we're supposed to be living? No, he's not going to let that happen because he's never satisfied. I'll let you see this. This woman, her name is Sophia Smallstorm. She gave a very lucid and sobering breakdown of the nature of the fibers showing up in the growing number of the population, particularly Caucasian. She found filaments as rough as archaea that look like bacteria, and these filaments are self-replicating. Now, they have created something akin to DNA called GNA. GNA is DNA's mirror twin and is a nanotechnology building block. From the Biodesign Institute at Arizona State, they say GNA is the first self-assembled nanostructures compound of glycol nucleic acid, a synthetic analog of DNA. They have a synthetic basis to life now. So you ain't know the next person next to you may have GNA, be walking around looking like you, acting like you, but it's not you. The only chemical difference between DNA and the synthetic cousin GNA is the sugar molecule. GNA uses a 3-carbon sugar called glycol rather than a 5-carbon deoxyribose used in DNA. You can read that for yourself. The National Institute, now listen carefully. Here is what is in the fibers that you're not paying attention to. When they put the heat to these fibers that they've been digging out of people, guess what happens? The National Institute of Health article on research from Japan also states that various conductive polymers and gold nanoparticles are trapped within the helical superstructures of this GNA. So they are using gold to create a whole new kind of life form. Why do they think they got you with that nanogenetic or that colloidal gold and the rest of that gold? Why do they think that they're getting your body ready? If your body does not, or your cellular structure does not encompass the magnesium molecule naturally and organically, you cannot take that gold. The gold cannot be synthesized properly. In fact, it will start unraveling your DNA. GNA can be wrapped with the gold, but your DNA unravels with gold. Oh, really? Think about that. It appears that the GNA fibers were put to an intense flame. They secreted what was defined as a gold payload. Also found in people with Morgellons syndrome were fibers arranged in nanoarrays. A nanoarray is a device used in biotechnology for DNA hybridization. So therefore, these things they're digging out of you, when you put intense heat against them, they bleed gold. What are they trying to convert your DNA into? Or what are they trying to get your DNA to become so that they can now synthetically upload you or give you a synthetic interface? Because remember, this GNA is a synthetic DNA. And if they are trying to download that into you to get your DNA to interface with GNA, what the hell are they trying to create? See, I know you're a little tired right now. You're kind of brain banged. I mean, we're hammering away at your brain. But guess what? Sarnetta, this is being taped, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you got it on tape. You can sit home when you get fresh. You know, go home, bathe, shower, get yourself back right, and buy the tape. Here's what they look like. This is what they've been digging out of folks.
That's the one.
And it is connected directly to, yes. One more time, according to Engvall, nanofibers, I'm almost done, everyone, are actually transport mechanisms that hold a payload for delivery. A payload that would normally be comprised by the sun or atmosphere, preventing it from interfacing with its destination, the cells and neuronal fibers of your body. There are two phases for the installing of the bio-API in global humanity. One, get everyone wired by suffusing the atmosphere with nanofibers containing synthetic synaptic interfacing nanobots taken into the body cavities. Side effects include a clicking sound from within the skull and basic annoying body complications like aching joints. This phase actually provides complete remote control of your speech and thought patterns through synthetic telepathic suggestions. I've got many desperate calls from people about this very thing. In a mutually triggered phase, to completely comprise a person's health, you can do anything to monitor, from monitor to kill a person. All right, you can read that for yourself. Now, mind control through scalar wave manipulation is for the creation of artificial quantum. Is for the creation of artificial quantum vacuums of potential to match the Ma'atian quantum vacuum of divine potential that pervades all existence within the interfacing consciousness medium of God and man, are linked through time, space, light, sound, fire, air, water, and earth. Synthetic scalar wave environments are created by the consciousness leeching parasitic elite to see counter-potential energy signatures that are meant to distort, scramble, and ultimately control the higher intentions and capabilities of human thought. This entropic vacuum of pure divine potential is represented through the divine temple of man in the form of an energy flow and distribution called the Mobius coil. Well, what is the Mobius coil? Metaphysically then, scalar waves could represent the quantum is-time vacuum of divine, omniscient mind, providing the environment for creative potential and third density for replication as creative energy through human thought. The Jason scientists have scientifically calculated the frequency threshold capabilities of human cellular consciousness, and through the broadcasting of scalar-based inertial signatures, cause DNA modification and mutation. Through their continued development of hyperdimensional technologies, they have so far successfully that the atomic consciousness of the cell employs to allow for the transcension of our species out of the consciousness inertia of the absolute paradigm structure, of this obsolete paradigm structure. This, everybody, is the Mobius coil. This is what the Mobius coil is about. But guess what? This particular energy pattern is found in the very signatures of your heart. Your heart is a Mobius coil. Which is why your ancestors put the soul in your heart. Why Djibouti weighs the heart at the end of your life. Read it for yourself. I see people gotta go home and go to your work tomorrow. So, if you hear persistent tones and static, have sudden cranial clicking or body vibrations, burning sensations, bangs in the head, burning smell, neurological or defensive system damage, are hearing electronic voices or hearing rushing sounds in your ears, suffering from pains deep in your organs or constant headaches, permanent metallic taste in your mouth, aching joints, fatigue, constant itching, or experiencing other undefined and unrecognized body anomalies, chances are you are being targeted by directed energy mind control weapons. These weapons could be on helicopters, jets, stealth fighters, or satellites. Directed energy beams and electromagnetic waves can impact you via handheld devices or piggyback on cell phones and satellite towers. Okay, so then here are some of the countermeasures. There's something called the Q-Wave Defender. We can go up to qwave.com. It interfaces with scalar waves. Voices and noises in the head become weaker. Brain boiling or the targeting of certain sections of the brain significantly lessen. Regain the ability to think your own thoughts. Thoughts were normally interrupted in mid-sequence. Different scalar wave amplitudes can induce different types of mood stimulus and steer thoughts and thinking. Had ability to follow up on one's own thoughts, to complete a thought from beginning to end. Can now recognize when dreams are being artificially sequenced. Device can be based on solfeggio frequencies, E528 Hertz, said to be the frequency that repairs DNA. Okay? A 4,000 Gauss magnet can also impede this kind of energy from any of your scalar wave frequencies. Try to find it. Usually the big speakers in discos have a 4,000 Gauss magnet. There are some of your technical countermeasures as well. You can use at night before going to bed, take B-complex, niacin release. This is for emergency purposes. Lecithin and a clove of garlic or cayenne. This will keep your circulatory system loose and easy during the onslaught of electrical and microwave impulses. You will know that you've been attacked by ELF when you awaken in the middle of the night with your heart pounding, or if you've stopped breathing. You have had an acid influx attack coming up the esophagus. Take magnesium powder, brand name Calm. But use your discretion when your blood pressure soars and your heart is pounding for no apparent reason. Seek electrical shelter. Have a grounding device near your bed or a metal lamp plugged into the ground or wall socket also grounds you, that you can grab onto when you get muscle cramps in your calves and feet due to electrical pollution. Grabbing onto the grounded metal will alleviate cramps almost immediately. Now very carefully, as we're wrapping up, brothers and sisters, know this as I close out tonight. There is a psycho-spiritual war on archetypal humanity. We are in a war being waged for the domination, subjugation, and parasitic possession of human biospiritual energies. Our thought patterns are now being monitored, marginalized, and manipulated with artificially constructed neurological energy template patterns that induce the intelligence index of our species into spiral downward into ever lower frequency bands of consciousness. Frequency disruption technologies that scramble the forward-moving momentum of the universe's evolutionary consciousness spectrums have been set up to interfere with man's higher access to cosmic intelligence and self-awareness. The first stages of the strategy of this war for possession of the autonomous mind and soul has been to separate us from nature, that is, to estrange us from the symmetric algorithms of natural thoughts, natural linguistics, natural feelings, and natural behavior. This they have accomplished through the exercise of mind control. Our ancestors taught that the universe is mind. Thus, man is a child of the universe, is God's projected image as quantumized mind. Therefore, all forms of mind control, all efforts to colonize your thoughts, are in no uncertain terms efforts to control the parasite the individuated spirit of God. This then is their desired goal, to scientifically preempt and attenuate the frequencies equated with human spirituality and transcendence, in order to circumvent our divine capacity for overcoming developmental obstacles and thresholds encountered during the natural progress of evolution. different methods to colonize our thoughts. All technologies implemented to target our gender-based equilibrium, our sense of connectedness to the universe, and our overall health and well-being are created primarily to disrupt our cerebral links to the light-encoded impulse broadcasted to us by way of relay-like stations configured into star clusters called constellations. In summary, we are gender-based star beings created from stardust, programmed into material consciousness by star acoustics and starlight. The original human body template operates as the avatar of God on multidimensional thresholds of cognition, using the probability-altering mechanisms of the individuated mind through the brain to triangulate God's existence in third density. In other words, omniscient consciousness is channeled through the scalar-based quantum vacuum of the microcosmic human temple as a holographic ectypal consciousness. Ectypal equals replicated, reproduced as a mold or cast of the archetype. And that's who you are. Thus, if the scientists, puppets of the animus, have gained technical knowledge, synthetic access and control of our quantum vacuum of third density consciousness, and perverted its landscape with service to self-intentions for parasitic control of humanity, then it is for us to regain control of our own individuated scalar, probability, potential, space-time quantum by understanding the quantum mechanistics of creative thought so as to gain control of our individuated minds. And through this, the collective consciousness of sentient life on this planet. I know it sounds mad. Well, you see, he's up against it at this time. Okay? Because right now, he don't know whether he's coming or going.
That's right. That's true.
He is now under the control of people and entities higher than himself. In disclosure, you will hear something around 2018, a broadcast about his interface with extraterrestrial life on this planet, sometime around 2018. And with that, brothers and sisters, I would say to you that there you are. Who are you? Are you these little creatures that's down here? Because here you are. You seem to be trapped in a paradigm of the parasitic elite and the animals. Well, guess what? This is me. I know this is you too. Why? Where are you headed? Because I am dealing with infinite consciousness potential, and that's where I'm headed. I know that's where you want to be headed, because that's exactly what it is we are. And with that, brothers and sisters, I would like to say Shemit Hotep. Thank you for your kind attention, and walk in life.
Back in the day, he was doing 12-hour lectures straight. They had no bathroom break, so you know, once again, give Baba salute.
Can we get one question?
Valentine.
One question.
One question.
One question. Dr. Phil, when you was talking about the goal, what about the monatomic goal? Does that enhance that process?
The monatomic goal, most people don't know, has been found to unravel DNA.
Okay.
It unravels it. Now, if there's any counter evidence to that, I'd like to know it because I would support it. But I've been into the nano gold and the other gold since the 1980s, and it hasn't done anything for me. Because if your body does not contain the natural magnesium molecule that's part of your hemoglobin, it's not going to be able to process it. Because then it will turn your blood to gold, not red. Your blood is based in iron at this time because of your lower nature. Your higher nature had it as gold.
Right.
But now you don't have